Welcome to Deep Dive, the feed, live from Portland. I'm Andy Tarnoff, the host of the Deep Dive Podcast Network, and Aaron Labor. We are on the road.
We are on location.
This is a different kind of episode because we don't have a TV, and we're not going to sit here making fun of Facebook Marketplace items. However, content is what we're talking about, whether it's Facebook Marketplace listings or just talking about Facebook Marketplace. We're talking about cool stuff, and today we are in downtown Portland at Milworks.
We are, and we had an inkling of making a show on this trip, but we weren't really sure. And then we came into Milworks, and we're like, holy crap, these guys are from Milwaukee. Holy crap, they got stuff from Facebook?
This is a very different kind of episode of Deep Dive, the feed. I'm here with Heather Ellis, and I am in the new Milworks location in downtown Portland. I know this place because it also exists in Milwaukee.
Yes, it does.
So I knew this was here. I didn't know how close it was going to be to where we're staying while Aaron and I are in Portland. You guys just opened, right?
Yeah, 5 weeks ago.
How's it been?
It's been amazing. It's been really good. We've had a great reception. Did a lot more business than we expected in the first month, so that was really great. And I think it's going to be a big deal.
How did you guys pick a second location in Portland? I mean, I think there's some similarities between Portland and Milwaukee. You're not a Milwaukee person, but tell me the genesis of this, please.
Well, I know that there are because I've heard that like a lot of people make those similarities, and even in politics, there's been some, mayor traveling to, I think Portland mayor going to Milwaukee to see what you all do.
I believe that's true.
And trying to replicate some of that here in Portland. But basically, when we started the business with our partners, Jason and Jesse Meyer, who live in Milwaukee and run that first store, we had always planned on opening a second location, and we also have a website. So initially, first store, Milwaukee, website, good to go. We lived in New York at the time, my husband and I, we are the other two partners of the four. And we just weren't sure where we were going to land, but we knew we didn't want to do that in New York City.
It'd be tough.
Yeah, it's just too hard.
Yeah.
It's just, everything's hard, So we're trying to figure out where we'd end up, and then COVID happened. We did move here during COVID, but then that just sort of delayed.
Not because of the store? Or
no, but
anticipated moving
it was part of that too.
Okay.
That was definitely a consideration.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it took you a couple of years to get this thing going, and
Indeed.
It is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Looking around here, I mean, this is the kind of store where I tell people that I would like to outfit my entire wardrobe with things like fancy man stuff. I don't know. What do you describe the aesthetic as my daughter calls it? Fancy man's probably not the right one.
I like fancy man, actually. Yeah, I think we should go with fancy man.
Okay.
I like that. Rugged yet refined is something that we say, to kind of give you, like, a lot of the brands and the product that we have in here is based on workwear. Mm-hmm. And that's what these brands do, and that's what we like too. So we tend to curate, the product and, both the styles and the brands, just to what we like, what we're into, what we think is cool, what we love and respect in the business. And
there's some stuff that I have seen in this store when we came in yesterday that I have only seen online, like some of the Japanese denim, the double R Ralph Lauren.
We have that.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you just don't see that
Yep,
everywhere.
right. Sure.
How do you pick some of these brands, and how do you make sure that what you have is unique?
Some of it is connections in the business. The four of us have been doing this a really long time.
Yeah.
One of our partners in Milwaukee, he likes to do a deep dive on the internet, and he will find a contact for something that we really want. Like, we brought Beams Plus to the US before anyone had it. Okay. No one had it back then, and it was so hard to find. There wasn't a rep. There was no, no one to contact at all.
Yeah.
And they weren't too interested enough. They would sell America, but they weren't going after it, I should say. And he went and found someone.
That's pretty cool. And then the online side of your business is also, I mean, that's a big part of what you do. And the way you guys frame the photos we were talking about, I mean, it really builds that lifestyle vibe, right?
Yeah. We really want the customer to have a certain experience, whether they are going onto the website or walking into the store, where you can really feel the whole vibe of everything. It doesn't mean you're going to want to buy every single piece we have, but overall, you're like, yeah, this is me. Like, this is like, or even what I aspire to be. we have young guys that come in, and a lot of those guys are like, yeah, this is cool. Like
Someday
this is what I
when
want. Yeah,
when I get a raise,
you
I'll
know,
come back here and,
or like
and buy
what
some $300
save my
jeans.
money and
Yeah.
like buy buy that one thing, and and then we have a lot of guys who are more established, and
Right.
like money's not the issue, and like how can they adapt to like what we have here to like their own personal style, and it's really exciting to like watch customers do that
Yeah.
and work with them.
It's very cool.
Yeah, we love that.
I love all of this stuff, and I honestly am tempted to take all of it home with me.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear more about it.
So we have like a curated, inspired stuff. We try to carry brands that most people haven't seen, and we actually get a lot of people that comment that, like
Yeah.
Beams in particular. People be like, "Oh wow, I never see Beams in person," or Double RL, which is our biggest brand.
Right.
Most people are like, "Oh, I've only seen it online and stuff." So it's really cool to be able to have it in person and get a feel for it, because a lot of the clothing you have to kind of touch and try on to fully appreciate it,
Right.
and not everybody fits the same. You're looking at a model online who looks perfect in it.
Right.
You get it shipped to you and it doesn't look anything like that on you. So it's really nice to be on the end of the part where we can help transition, where they don't have to worry about that. They can come in here, know they're going to feel good with the clothing that they have because they've already tried it on.
Well,
you.
and I would think, it's quite an investment. Some of it's not like inexpensive clothing, but
Correct.
you get what you pay for, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'm guessing. Let me ask you: does it help when people can touch this stuff and feel it? Not only to know it'll work for them, but it's like worth it.
Yeah.
Like feel the quality of it.
Yeah, and a lot of the brands we have, they have a cool story behind them. Like it's not just at face value for a good looking piece or a nice feeling piece. Like Levi's has so much history behind it, and they do
Yeah.
so many different categories within it, like Levi's Vintage, Made in Japan, which we carry a few like this one. And Made in Japan denim is really awesome.
Oh, I love Japan. Japanese denim is the best.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they almost embody what we think of when we think of Made in America, with
Yeah.
that quality and thought put into it. That's what they do now. They've
Right.
really honed in those skills, so they do some fantastic work in Japan.
And some people think about Levi and they're just like, oh, it's just Levi's, but
Yeah.
you got the special
Yeah, exactly.
Levi's.
A lot
Yeah.
of people don't even realize how many different branches within that company that they do.
Right,
Like
right.
the Levi's Vintage, they have a T-shirt that was rated the #1 T-shirt by GQ magazine
Wow.
for like 12 years in a row, and it's like a simple T-shirt, but it's based on a 1950s cut. So
Mhm.
it's just
Different feel.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason companies stick around as long as they do. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I noticed there's like a kind of a color palette here, an
Yeah.
autumnal color palette. Do
Yeah.
you switch it up for
Yeah,
the seasons?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Earth tones are really popular,
Nice,
and they just
yeah.
kind of work a lot of the time of the year. So a few special pieces we have. This is Howland, so it's a Dutch brand that's all made in Scotland, and they use all wool. This is Sherpa wool, so it's a Scottish sheep that's known to be particularly warm to handle the cold Scottish winters and everything. And they do some just awesome colors and stuff.
I'm gonna have to take one of those back to Wisconsin with me. We've got Scottish winters in Wisconsin
yeah.
too. So
Yeah. And the
uh,
great thing about wool is it keeps you cool when it's getting hot, and then
Right.
it warms you up once you get cool. So it's just a really great fiber. I'm a big wool fan.
I'm concerned I'm going to spend all my money here if you show me much more of this store. But
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is our most special piece. This is the Double RL. Double RL stands for Ricky and Ralph Lauren. Ricky is his wife. They bought a ranch in Colorado back in the 80s, and it inspired them to kind of start the brand. It's like vintage inspired Americana clothing. So each one of these squares is knitted by a different person, and then they all take the squares, put it together into a singular piece at the end. So it's like a whole story within your
What?
piece,
that's nuts.
It's a part of the special collection that he does once a year.
That is so cool.
Yeah, this is the kind of piece that you'd want to like be buried in,
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you come to the store to visit
Yes.
like once a month and just kind of have a chat with,
Yeah.
and then hope it's still here the next month.
What's the price tag on that one?
This one's $1,800.
No
So
touching.
it's also our most expensive piece in the store.
And I'm just petting it. I'm just petting
Well,
it.
that's
I
the
can
nice
do
thing
that.
about the store is you're allowed to come
Yeah,
and
see,
get
you
your
can
hands
pet
on
it, it's
pieces that you
okay.
normally wouldn't even get to see,
Right, exactly.
Like who else makes stuff like this? That's why
It's
Double
ins-
RL is our favorite brand within the store.
Yeah, it's really special.
Okay.
I understand you got an incredible find on Facebook, which is the whole inspiration behind this podcast. So
I love that.
I want to hear it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So this is my favorite one.
Yeah.
So I found this listing on Facebook Marketplace. It was $50, and it said a bunch of rusty cans.
Love it.
And it had just one picture, and it was like a pile of rusty cans. It was
Sure.
kind of hard to see how big they were or exactly what
Right.
they each looked like. And I thought, you know what? I need some
I need some-
fill-in stuff like that because most of our decor is vintage. Our clothing is new. Our decor is vintage.
Right.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to make the drive. So I drove out to the country, like 45 minutes out.
Right.
And I met this person's, it was a woman that posted it. I met her husband. He waited for me in a church parking lot. And he had gloves on and he unloaded, because everything was dirty and rusty.
Right.
And, he unloaded everything for me. He was so sweet. I mean, the stuff was amazing. And there was so much more than I expected.
So
it
wasn't
was
just
bigger
rusty
than I
cans.
thought.
Yeah.
No.
And is that stuff all around?
It's all around.
I love it.
It's
So
everywhere. I'll
like
show you some of it.
one like happenstance,
Yes.
one fortuitous meeting
Yes.
set you up for so much more than you could have ever
Yeah,
expected.
it
That's what I love.
did.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
it was
love it.
really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got?
Yeah.
What's here?
Okay,
I want to know what's here.
So
Yeah.
I'll show you. I'll
Yeah.
show you. I'll show you some of them.
Okay.
So
yeah, I'm sure we
this
can.
is one of them.
Oh, that is beautiful. Love it.
This is another one.
Yeah. You must have had so much fun placing these things
I
all
did.
over too.
I did. I was
right?
like, oh god.
Like everything looks good everywhere.
That little tiny guy
Love
is
it.
another one. That one up there in between the thermos and the boots. So
Alright.
that one up top next to the duck. And this was also included, this wood one.
Look at that.
How cool.
I can understand why that one's the centerpiece. Plus, it's flat on the top, so you can, use it to display. I love it. And you've had further experiences with Facebook Marketplace.
Yes.
Beyond that, have they all gone as swimmingly as that one did?
That was my favorite and best one, but I have
Yeah.
one other one. It was a sign, which I can show you. It's up front. And the guy was so cool. He's like, yeah, it's in my storage. He's like, I'll just deliver it for you.
Amazing.
And it was really reasonable. It was exactly as advertised. It looked even better than I expected. And it's wood, which is cool because they don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah, I know, right? They don't make anything like this anymore. I mean, everything that you showed me has so much character. It's like only time can put that in there, So, I don't
And
know.
thinking about the story behind all of it, I just love that. I love to imagine,
Absolutely.
where it came from and who used to own it.
There's history there. There's like a life lived in this object, right?
Yeah.
I love also like you meet people on the internet, you get a little nervous, you don't know what and
Right.
people get scammed, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But these little stories,
Yeah,
are so
the bright
encouraging.
spot.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
thank you so much
You're
for
so
showing us around.
welcome.
It was so good
Yeah,
that we
thanks
came
for
in.
coming in.
Absolutely.
Well, that was a really cool conversation. So next week we'll be back with our typical style of Deep Dive the Feed. Meanwhile, like and subscribe and get into Milworks or get to their website or follow them on Instagram because they have some amazing stuff. It's probably a good thing that we left, Aaron, because I blew all my money here.
I can't go back in there. Don't let me back in there. But I do want to say, definitely go to the website and check it out. If you're in Portland or Milwaukee, go to the shop. But if you can't be, we got to touch that stuff. It's so good. If you can try it, try it. It's amazing stuff.
Like and subscribe to Deep Dive the Feed, and we'll catch you next time. Live from Portland, I'm Andy. This is Aaron.
Thanks.
See ya.